Thank you all for joining our September Curator Coffee Chat. My name is Jessica Jordan, and I am on the Marketing and Curator Programs team. And I'm also joined by my colleagues Marcy McHugh and Kirsty Wang. And we're thrilled for all of you to join us today to talk about how to stand out on Flipboard. So here's what we have on the agenda. We're going to talk through the value of standing out on Flipboard, and we also have some tips for winning magazine curation and tips to grow your audience and how to get featured. And we're also going to have a Q&A session at the close of the event. So either hold on to your questions until then, or feel free to drop them in the chat feature. But before we dive in, quick show of hands. How many of you are Flipboard users? Okay, seeing lots of hands and a thumbs up. Awesome. Great to see all of you here. If you are new to Flipboard, we encourage you to download the app or go to flipboard.com to create an account. And please feel free to ask questions anytime throughout the event. Drop them into the chat feature, and one of my colleagues will jump in and help you out. Also, a quick note, we are recording the event, and we will reshare it on the Inside Flipboard blog, and we'll also share it with you via email follow-up. So if you happen to miss something here, don't worry, we'll be able to share it with you after the event. You may also notice that attendees are muted, and we plan to unmute at the end of the presentation in the tutorial. But again, if you have any questions throughout the event, feel free to use the chat feature. So I think it's time to get started. So Flipboard is a great place to connect with fellow enthusiasts and to recommend content to people with similar interests. We have over 800 million visits every month to amazing stories, and our average user spends about 100 minutes per week in the app, and our user base is growing. So today, I'm excited to chat with you all to talk about how to build your presence on Flipboard and how to stand out from the crowd so your curation will reach a larger audience. For content creators and marketers, Flipboard is a great place to stay up to date on industry news and to research topics that matter most to you, also to distribute content, to reach new audiences, and to connect with fellow enthusiasts. And just like any other platform, it's important to develop a presence that communicates what you're passionate about, why someone should follow you and your magazines, and your unique perspective that you bring to your curation. In our last coffee chat in June, we shared how to set up your profile, and we shared strategies to enhance your magazine curation. If you happen to miss that last event, we'll share the recap blog post of the event in the chat feature, so you won't miss out on any of those tips that we shared in our last event. So now I'm going to turn it over to Kirsty to talk a little bit more in depth about how to structure your magazines and how to grow your audience.
Thanks, Jessica. So as Jessica just shared, at our last coffee chat, we talked about how to set up your magazines in 4 easy steps. To review, first, to create a magazine, you would use the plus button on any stories, any content you come across to start a magazine. Then when you're curating your magazines, you're going to want to have these 4 important steps to have winning magazine curation. First, make sure to give it an engaging title and description to catch people's attention. Focus on a clear point of view. Create multiple magazines for different topics that you're interested in. And keep the magazine fresh by flipping new content in it often. Take a look at these examples from Suzanne, a travel curator, where she has engaging titles and multiple magazines about travel that make me want to click into them and see what she's curating about travel. These are the 4 basic steps of how to create an awesome magazine, and each of them are extremely important. So you may want to go back and take a look at the magazines you're already curating and see if they need a quick update to reflect these tips and tricks. Today, we'll go a little more in depth and talk about 3 ways to structure your magazine by changing the title and description, the cover photo, and rearranging content. I'm going to go through a quick tutorial right now and share my screen and all the ways that you can structure your magazines and put your best foot forward. I'll show you how to do this on desktop, but it's extremely similar on our mobile app as well. So first, you're going to want to look at all your magazines. To do that on desktop, you'll click your profile image on the top right. You'll scroll down to where all your magazines live. And to edit them and structure them, you're going to want to click on the pencil icon on the bottom right of any square in your magazine. So say I want to edit my People Are Fascinating magazine. I would click on this pencil icon. So as you know, when you create a magazine, you can create a title and description right when you start it. But did you know you can update it and change it at any point? If the magazine's purpose has kind of changed or you've just thought of a new title that you want to update it to, you can always click into it and change it right here on desktop or on our mobile app. Secondly, you can set your magazine cover image. Every magazine has a featured image that is enlarged at the top of your magazine. That's the first thing people see when they land on your magazine or come across it while they're browsing the app. The photo is automatically taken from the newest piece of content you collect in your magazine, but you can change it at any time to another image from another piece of content in your magazine. To do that, hover over the image where it says edit, click on it, and you can choose another image. Ask yourself what will catch someone's eye when they scroll past your magazine and best represent the content that you have in your magazine. My magazine is about interesting people and societies, so I'll scroll and find something that I feel might best represent this magazine topic. And, and sometimes when I'm done browsing content on the web, I just like to go and just update my magazine to a different image just to keep it fresh. So I'll click save, and it'll update into a new photo there. Third, your magazine content is in chronological order based on when you added the content. But did you know that you can actually reorder the content in your magazine? In that same view right here, you can drag your content into the order that you like in your magazine. So if you see, I can drag and maybe change the way that I want my content to show up. Maybe you want to keep important pieces of content near the top of your magazine, so it's the first thing people see when people visit it. Or maybe there's just a general order of stories that you think would be best consumed when someone is scrolling for the first time. This is a very neat feature that not many people know about that is a great way to stand out on Flipboard. But I do also want to note that this rearranging content for magazines is only available on the desktop and not the mobile app. So these 3 tips, changing and updating your title and description, changing your cover image, and rearranging your content, helps you share your voice and your unique perspective with users to help discover your magazine and put your best foot forward. Next, we're going to talk about how to grow your audience on Flipboard. So there are several ways to attract new audiences to your magazines and profile. We're going to share a few, but if you have other ideas, feel free to share them with everyone in the chat. We would love to hear what you're doing to grow your audience. First, the big one, share. Tell your followers on other platforms about your magazines by using the big red share button, which is on both desktop and mobile on the bottom right when you click on any magazines. When you click that share button, a unique URL that you can post wherever you'd like shows up for you to paste anywhere. Paste it in an email or on Twitter or on Facebook. The share URL takes people directly to your magazine in the web or the Flipboard app if they have it. So you can also add that URL to email signatures, blog sidebars, profile pages on other social channels such as Twitter or Instagram or wherever. The people who view your magazines from that link they click don't need a Flipboard account to see your magazine. They can look directly at your awesome content that you're curating when they click on that link. Second, embed your magazine. Did you know that you can add your magazines or a follow button to your website? Just visit our tools page, which is simply about.flipboard.com/tools. And our tools page looks like this right here. You can drop in the URL of one of your magazines and get code to paste directly into your website so that your magazine will show up on your website. If you have trouble, feel free to email us at curators@flipboard.com and we'll be happy to help. So when you embed your magazine into your website, you're making it super easy to share the content that you're curating with all the visitors that come across your website. And it just sits right there on either the sidebar or the main part of your blog, just like this example right here. And we will share about.flipboard.com/tools. That's the website, and we'll link that at the end of the chat as well. Third, interact. One of the most effective ways to get Flipboard users to read and engage with your magazines is to read and engage with their magazines. So search for magazines about topics that match your interests. And if you see something interesting, tap follow, and you'll see their content show up on your For You feed. Then interact with them. Like the articles that appeal to you, comment on articles that inspire you. Flipboard is a community of magazine makers and curators, so join the conversation, and you'll see notifications pop up in that chat icon on the bottom right of your mobile app, where you'll know when someone likes or comments or saves some of your curation. Lastly, since you're a content creator, you likely have other curators in the same field that you know of and maybe work with. If there's a group of content creators that you collaborate with, invite them to curate a magazine with you through group magazines. Did we lose the slides? No worries. Okay. So group magazines are a collaborative magazine where everyone that's joined and invited can add content to the same magazine, which keeps it very dynamic with different points of view. Invite people that you know, or another way to find contributors to these group magazines is by finding collaborators directly on Flipboard. So as you're going through the Flipboard app and finding great content, find other enthusiasts that are passionate about similar topics that you are passionate about, and invite them to curate with you in a group magazine. So these are 4 examples and key tactics to grow your audience on Flipboard: sharing off-platform, interacting with others on the platform, embedding your magazines onto your website, and collaborating in group magazines are just great ways to grow your audience. We know that there's many more, so again, feel free to drop that in the chat if you have other ideas. And hopefully this inspires you to try some of these and grow your audience in these ways. Now I'm going to hand it off to Marcy, who will share how to get featured editorially by our team.
Well, one of the conversations that Kirsty's been talking, one of the pieces Kirsty's been talking about is how to grow your audience. And obviously getting featured and anything we can do to help amplify your great curation is exciting to us. There are some amazing and very creative magazines being curated across Flipboard. We have almost 40 million magazines, and we're always searching for them. Our editorial and marketing teams often find them while we're working, but sometimes just flipping through for our own personal interests, we can discover some of the amazing, inspiring curation out there. The team loves to feature that in the innovative and informative magazines and profiles that we find. And here are a few ways we do that and how you can let us know when you have something you'd like to have considered for featuring. So this first slide is today's picks. One of the ways we celebrate your curation is through today's picks. You'll notice it at the top of your Flipboard every single day. Today's picks is in what we call the home carousel. It's editorially curated. It's a collection updated, like I said, daily with 4 sections generally. And these sections are based on sort of timely or trending or sort of fun topics we want to cover. Like in today's picks, if you go there, you'll see sustainable food magazines. You'll see collections about the US Open and then goal setting. So we try and cover things we think our audience would be interested in kind of an array of categories and topics. And so as we find those great collections, we save them and we make sure we feature them when the opportunity comes around. We'd love to consider any of the collections you're working on to feature in today's picks. So feel free to drop a link into the chat today with a magazine that you're proud of, or even just magazines that you love. And when we feature you or your magazine, you'll get an email letting you know that you've been featured. So then you can go back and check it out, even if you missed today's picks that day. And when we, let's go to the next slide. Another way we spotlight some of the curation that is on our platform is in this team curated magazine. So Kirsty mentioned group magazine. This is a group magazine. You'll see Downsized Dreams, Sustainable Food Systems by Liz. You see Everything Fall by Suzanne. You see Art Moment by the Moment Magazine, and Where on Earth by John. So, and it keeps going. And this collection we add to all the time. It's another way for us to feature some of the great magazines that are being created. You'll see it flipping through here. And then on the right-hand side, you see the hashtag Travel Mags We Love. If you go to the next slide, sorry, we also have mags we love for dedicated communities. The food mags we love, photography mags we love. There we go, thank you. Food mags we love, travel mags we love. You can follow any of these collections, and every time we add to them, you will get that new magazine we've shared in your For You feed. There are about 320,000 followers of Mags We Love. And so all of those people, when we share into that collection, have an opportunity to discover this new magazine we're recommending. This is a core way we feature curation every single day, and everybody on the marketing and editorial team are adding to this on a regular basis. So as I said, put it in the chat, or if you go to the next slide, another way to let us know is to tag us on social. This is the way we find great content for today's picks and Mags We Love, as well as the other subsection mags we love. It's a way to get noticed is by mentioning Flipboard. When you share on your social channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, we're kind of always monitoring and always looking for great curation. When we add you to any of our featured sections, we will be sure to tag you back and let you know. At this point, I'll turn it back over to Jessica to